So, recording for I'm recording this voice note for the essay I hope to write for the book review slash case study of Elnathan John's Born on a Tuesday, because of how excellent I thought he wrote it. How excellently I thought he wrote it. So first of all, the reason why I wanted to write this is because over the past couple of years, I think since 2025, I've been trying to write better. And while I know that my writing has greatly improved, my writing has improved like mad, I also know that I'm not where I want to be. If you go to my Medium and you scroll down all the way back to 2022, you will see that the way I used to write my stories, my articles, my essays, my even like just my thoughts were a lot more different compared to how I write now. I feel like generally overall, I write so much more better now. I write with more depth. I write with a better understanding of what it is, or what the technique of writing requires for you to embark on the journey or the quest that you want to write. You want to become a writer, you want to write well, you want to write good. I've honed the skills, not like I've honed the skills, but like I've seen that I'm not there yet, and there are so many things that I am required to do. And anytime I see such great writing, such as Nnamdi Ehirim, some of the best Nnamdi Ehirims and what's this guy's name? Tomorrow died yesterday. What's that guy's name, guy? That's like one of my favorite fucking books. I can't remember his name right now, bruh. Let me look for his book on my table. I have to mention his name. There's no way I won't mention my favorite. What? That guy has had such a great impact on my writing. A Broken People's Playlist and Tomorrow Died Yesterday. The author, I've forgotten his name. What the fuck? I can't even find his book on my table. What? Did someone take his book from me? Let me try to remember. Gosh. This guy has Nnamdi Ehirim and this guy have done so much to shape my writing. And I don't take this lightly, because it has not only made me become a better writer, it has also taught me how to read better, how to understand better, how to be patient with a writer's writing style. Because whether you admit it or not, every writer contributes. Every person, as a writer who studies writing anyway, every person you read, Chimeka Garricks, oh my guy, what? Can't believe I forgot his name. What? anyway, Chimeka Garricks, the big guy. Chimeka Garricks and Nnamdi Ehirim have given me the best. When I say the best, I mean the best. What? I should probably start this as. But I don't know the Feynman technique and the Pomodoro method. Anyway, Chimeka Garricks and Nnamdi Ehirim has taught me how to write better from just reading their books, right? I thought I learned from Nnamdi Ehirim's writing how to include sentences, how to make sentences run into each other without breaking. I also learned from his writing not to introduce a scene without first telling or prompting the reader. Now, the thing with the way I have been trying to study this entire thing is, let me see if I can get on X. I just want to host the space, man. Let me host the space and like what? Spaces. So maybe I could record this later because I feel like my network is too poor, and honestly I need to fire because I don't have time. I have so many things I need to get back to. I'm trying to help a friend with something. I'm also trying to like figure out something, and I'm trying to eat so I can take my drugs because I just came back from the hospital from having such a severe allergic reaction to shit. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to swear. It's just anyway. Back to what I was saying. Oh, I was talking about how Chimeka Garricks and Nnamdi Ehirim have shaped my writing so greatly that I now understand, even without like actively, consciously, um, through like professionally or educationally studying. Why am I using so much words to describe going to a school to learn how to write? Even without like learning is the conventional way how to write here. I feel like I'm studying the way these guys write, and it's and I'm replicating their style. And I've never ever in my life hit that. In fact, there's this story I have called Confessions under a Crescent Moon that I literally studied Chimeka Garricks' American People's Playlist and Nnamdi Ehirim's The Brevity of Beautiful Things to write. I'm not even joking. Now, the entire concept of writing, if you just read the story, you will see that I didn't do so much in the writing style. My writing style was shit. I was copying their storytelling pattern. That was it. The emotions that they create in me when I read their work, I was trying to recreate that. Now, if you just look at the story based on like writing style, whatever else you use to judge it, that I don't know, that is conventionally used to judge how someone writes or how well someone writes, how good a writer someone is, I probably would not meet or hit any of the metric. But you see, when you place the storytelling itself side by side, not side by side. God, I take that back. I know I'm not worthy to be placed side by side with these writers, please. I'm trying to say, when you use Chimeka Garricks' and Nnamdi Ehirim's method of storytelling to as a guide to judge that story, even if it doesn't hit up to the average point, it's going to hit some points. And I'm so sure that prior to reading those two books, it would not have even thought of entering a point on that list. But I'm sure at least it's going to hit a point. Like, okay, whatever they use to judge their own storytelling, I use it to judge my own, or use it to as a metric or a guide sheet to score me. I probably will get up to 5 out of 10. I probably will get 3, but I'm sure I will hit something. And that's enough for me, right? Because prior to that, I didn't have that much confidence in my writing until I started reading them. Anyway, so I just want to say that there's something I read in Stephen King's. Like I said, for the past 2-3 years, I've been trying to learn how to write. And what this meant is I've met a couple of people. Anytime I discover good writing, I try to pick the writer's or the author's brain. I try to have conversations with you to know what you're reading, what you think of when you write, how you feel. If I can get you to teach me how to write like you, I know like there are a couple of people I've met. There are a couple of people I've met. There are also like a couple of people whose writing I strictly follow because they write the kind of things I want to write. For instance, before I started reading Elnathan John's Born on a Tuesday, I knew he was an excellent essayist. So I used to read his essays. I know at some point I started to disagree with some of the things he was saying, but he's an excellent essayist. So anytime he drops his free things, because he doesn't always drop free things, but anytime he drops free things, his Substack is for subscription, I think. So I mean, no offense, I would subscribe if I could conveniently afford it. It's just I just can't afford it exactly. Even though I've not like checked, I think it's not much of affordability for me. I think it's mostly about the time. I just feel like I probably what the fuck. I feel like I probably would subscribe to it, but sometimes life just gets life in, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have the time for shit. So it's like, I probably would be happy enough to subscribe to his Substack. It's just life just gets busy, and like I don't read all his things like that, But I read him, and he's an excellent essayist. And when I saw that, before I started reading his novels or his stories, I saw that his personal essays, his normal essays, they're excellent. They're so excellently written. Every time I check them, I look at it and I'm like, yes, I need to understand how to place things like this. How do you guide your reader, especially in this type of essay? How do you guide your reader from this point, from point A to point B to point C? You're not telling a story. You're writing an essay. This is not a fictional story you're concocting to keep and applying all the rules of writing to keep your writers interested in order to follow a story. But he writes so good that even if he's talking about the most basic, unnecessary things, and it's in an essay form and it's so serious, he still finds a way to put humor in it, finds a way to put, like, he's such an excellent essayist, and I used to read him, but I was like, whoa, someone who is this good at essays, I need to find out how he does with his books. So I got Born on a Thursday. I was looking for the other one, but now see, I said the other one because even though I used to think that the name was becoming Nigerian, I just found out when I was reading a page out of, I think, Born on a Tuesday, that it was becoming, and I didn't see anything else. But anyway, I will check it. I've not checked it. I know that I've been seeing the book going around, but I haven't checked it because I didn't want to read the pirated copy. I want to grab a copy myself, right? So I want to grab a copy of the book physically myself. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to read a pirated copy because I hate that shit. I'm going to get published someday, and I don't want, I don't want to be feeling bad. See people share like PDF copies of my book for free. Because I mean, like, it's just the moral high ground I refuse to trample upon. It's probably go away, but yeah, I don't want a soft copy. I want to buy my own copy. So that's why I haven't been. I actually have been wanting to read his book since, but I had not come in contact with it. Like, I live in Port Harcourt, and most of the times, people who have a lot of bookstores and publishers who have a lot of books, or residing, like, a lot of books that you would want to find or you're looking for, or residing like Lagos, Abuja. So it's like, while the popular books get here, it's mostly sometimes just the popular or in-demand books, right? So while, like, I know Elnathan John's books are excellent and they've been widely sought and they've been talked about a lot, I just felt like, yo, it's not in Port Harcourt. I've looked. I've tried. So one day I walked into a bookshop to get my friend a book because he said he wanted to read a book. So I wanted to get him a book. I was trying to get him. So we saw the copy and I was like, oh my God, I have to read this. Like, I was so excited, and I got the copy and started reading it. And I saw two things. First of all, my mind would not have gone, hey, God, I'm sorry. Forgive my words. Forgive the way I'm talking. I'm talking so fast because I have to go back to work. I have to go back to typing. So while I saw the book was excellent and well written, I would not have noticed or taken note of the things that I needed to take note in order to better my own writing, if not for another writer, Abasimen. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but I would probably just put his hand or somewhere. I would not have known that I had to look out for. There's one tweet he dropped. There's a thread, or not necessarily a thread, because he said he couldn't make like comments, so he had to keep reposting and be quoting with a quote. I be reposting with a quote. So had to keep quoting the tweets. So he said one that grabbed my attention was, he was trying to say that even though he started out as content writer, he knew that what he wanted to go into was script writing because that's where the money is. And everybody writes for money, and people who don't write for money don't. Like, he was speaking everybody's mind, basically. So he now got to this part and he was like, He had to learn how to write. He didn't learn how to write just to learn how to write. He had to learn how to write so he could make money off of it. He had to learn how to make his sentences short and punchy because people attention is hard to keep, and people like. And when I saw that, I was like, short and punchy. Wow. Then I saw how he wrote it. That was so clever. How he wrote that tweet. Exactly that. Exactly that. Short and punchy. Punctuation, yeah. Short. I was like, yo, this is such a brilliant description of like, this is such a brilliant way to describe something you're trying to teach someone. So you don't just say it, you say it and show it at the same time you're teaching. I'm like, this is so great. And that pointed me into the right direction. So when I opened that book, that was the first time I noticed short and punchy sentences, shorter sentences. Now, mind you, I started writing a book in 2024. Like, for context, why I will tell you why this meant so much for me. I started writing a book in 2024, right? And when I sent my first 3 chapters / 10,000 words to a friend who was also a colleague that I was working with, he said, I sent it to him for peer review. Just go through it. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you think about the writing, about the storytelling. Now, he took his time. He sat down with a pen and a paper, and he was jotting down things. He was reading and jotting. Very serious guy. His name is what's his name? We call him Great Man. He has a Substack. I'll probably link it. But that's not his name. That's not his main name. I think it's Benekagbara or Benegbara. I can't remember. But like, we call him Great Man because that's the translation of his name into English from his dialect. So he was taking down a lot of notes. Like, I think he had like 3 pages full of notes and questions. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? Why are you so fucking serious? Anyway, when he gave me the things he was jotting down, the first thing he said, the first thing he noted, the first thing that was number 1 on the list was very long sentences. Now, for context, if you go again, scroll down my Medium to when I started writing in 2022. For context, a sentence for me is not a sentence until it enters up to 4 lines. So after it entering up to 4 lines, you give yourself like double line spacing, times New Roman for fonts, and then font size 12, right? Until within these specifications I've given, the words if they don't form up to 4 lines, if they don't form up to 4 lines, I don't think I'm writing a sentence. And I want my sentence to not end until I finish a line of thought. So sometimes my sentences would reach 8 sentences. I am talking about one thing. And it's one sentence. Sorry, 8 lines, I mean. My sentences will enter 8 lines. 8 lines, and I'm talking about one thing. I'm talking about one line of thought. I'm talking about one thing. 8 lines. A good sentence for me would probably be like from 4 to 6 lines. And that's how I used to write. Short sentences, who said? I never knew that sentences could contain just 3 words. I am here, full stop. At home, full stop. Where I miss being, full stop. What? Such short, punchy, consecutive, continuing, intriguing couple of sentences to hold attention. I'm like, this is brilliant. And Abasemian, after he pointed that out, I've always loved Abasemian's writing. I've also tried to copy his style, but I feel like he's too stylistic. I feel like he's too grand for me. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not that I don't like his writing. I love his writing. He's an excellent writer. But he does this. He's too good. Not too good. I don't mean good as in he's better than the people I chose to study. I mean good as per his style of writing is not, his method of writing is not necessarily how I want to write. The way he sounds when he writes, the way his writing voice sounds when he writes is not what I want to sound like. So it's kind of hard to keep copying or trying to learn him. But he writes so excellently well that his application of English and the writing in itself, style of writing in itself, I love it. If you want to learn, he's the perfect person to learn from. I'm not even going to lie. He's the perfect person to go to study. His writing is good. Right? Elnathan John's writing, however, is who I want to. Sorry, his writing voice is what I want to sound like, while also imputing or inculcating or incorporating Chimeka Garricks' and Nnamdi Ehirim's writing of emotion and method of storytelling. Now it's like, yo, I want Abasimian's writing style. I want um Elnathan John's writing voice. I want Nnamdi and Ehirim and Chimeka Garricks' storytelling style. So it's like I know what I want. All the while, yeah, all the while, I want to be able to be as relatable as Chimamanda. So these are my writing goals. So it's like I know what I want. The core thing that these people all share together is that they are relatable, especially for Chimeka Garricks and Nnamdi Ehirim when it comes to relationships. I think for Elnathan John, when it comes to, I've not read his other books, so I can't say, but when it comes to relating to the public regarding a particular thing, he knows how to move the crowd. For instance, this book, Born on a Tuesday, is about the Muslim people. He knows how to write the passion and pain of the Muslim people, the lives of the Muslim people. No Muslim person would pick this book and not be able to relate, whether you were bred at home or abroad, to one or two things from the book. That's excellent. You know, some people complain about people who, these diasporan writers, that when they write about Nigeria, they don't understand. They talk about jollof rice and akara. Bruh, Elnathan John's writing, no matter where you were born, you can relate. And that's exactly what Chimamanda does. But she does it on a much larger scale. It's like she does it not with a select group, and for an entire continent. Bruh. It's like, I love that. That's one thing they all share. Relatability. And for the larger part, I love easy writing. Another of my very favorite essays is Paul Graham. And I know that there was one time he trended on Twitter where he talked about how Nigerians don't know how to write easy words, and they don't know how to. I think there was one time he said it was talking about grandiloquence. We use too much words for easy things, and that's also something Stephen King explains and highlights. If you're a writer, use as less and simple words as you like, or as you should, or than you are required. That's the kind of writing I like. That's why, I'm sorry for calling this person's name. I love his books. I love him. But that's why when I read There Was a Country, I kind of found it difficult to get through. It's not that I loved the book. Oh my God, such excellent writing. But it was not my style of writing. I would not write like that. Even if I was required to learn to write like that, I just feel like I don't want to do that. I could do that. I could try to do it. If you give me enough money, I would do it. But like he said, it was talking about grandiloquence. We use too much words. That's how she feels. That's how her book, and clearly and succinctly as I can, that I just feel like I found it difficult to get through. It's not that I loved the book. Oh my God, such excellent writing, but it was not my style of writing. I would not write like that. Even if I was required to learn to write like that, I just feel like I don't want to do that. I could do that. I could try to do it. If you give me enough money, I would do it. But that's not really what I lean towards. I grew up reading things like Purple Hibiscus, and I grew up reading Chimamanda. Chimamanda talks like a baby girl. She talks like, I want you to hear me, so I'm going to talk as softly and calmly and kindly as I can, and clearly and succinctly as I can. I want you to hear me. I will use the language you understand. I will use the things you know. I won't fool you with my words. I just want you to hear me. That's how she feels. That's how her books feel. That's how Elnathan John's books feel. And that's why I like them. But for these other two guys, Nnamdi Ehirim and Chimeka Garricks, two things they do. One thing with Nnamdi Ehirim is he is very poetic. Oh my God, he is so intentional with his sentences. Oh my goodness. Nobody writes more beautiful sentences than Nnamdi Ehirim. he takes his time to fine-tune and beautify his. So I don't know if I can say this, but I have been opportuned to see. I've been opportune to see a first draft of something he wrote, a first draft filled with so many typos. And even in the first draft, you could tell this person pays attention to his sentence. You could tell this person likes good sentences. And that's so cool. Like, it's so poetic and it's so similar to what Chimeka Garricks does. But Chimeka Garricks pays less attention to the poetic properties of the sentences and more to the emotional relevance or deliverance. He puts as much he puts as much energy into beautifying his sentences, but not just to make them sound poetic, to make sure that they can deliver as much emotional impact as they can carry. And that is so beautiful. Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm trying to find a way to combine these things. And like, this is why I've picked all the writers that I chose to study. And that's why I've picked Elnathan John. And I have not finished reading Born on a Tuesday. So this is an early essay. I just felt like I needed to put something out because I'm enjoying this book so much. I need you people to anticipate. I have a lot of things. I am studying Elnathan John's writing and I'm seeing how to describe grief. Oh my God. There's one part he wrote and he was like, oh my God, Elnathan, I can see how to describe sadness, pain, without even putting these words in the paragraph or in the sentences. I am describing the things I want to describe using emotions that were so cleverly written that you cannot do anything but complete reading it. It's excellent. I have learned so much and I've underlined so much, and I feel like I really want to put this out there because I just need you people to know that there is writing and then there is writing. And I was so excited to write it and I'm so excited to talk about it because let me tell you guys, the 2 years that I've spent trying and learning how to write, I have learned so much. Okay? So I'm going to have to go now because I have work and I have to reach out to a friend and I have to do other things. But I promise to check in back as soon as possible. Bye bye.